The blaster stance in Jedi Survivor allows the player to shoot and kill enemies with a blaster. However, it's still heavily dependent on using the lightsaber for damage. But can you actually beat the main story using only your blaster to deal damage? Well, unfortunately, even if you start with New Journey Plus giving you the blaster stance from the start, you are still forced at certain times to use other stances. However, these sections are only a very small part of the main story, and in this video I'm going to attempt to beat the rest using only the blaster to deal damage. Now before we start, let's go over the rules. The lightsaber cannot be used to deal damage in any way. The lightsaber can be used for blocking, such as parrying or deflecting blaster bolts, since it is basically essential to survive. The blaster should be the main cause of damage. And finally, I can use the force to push objects that will deal damage to enemies like deflected grenades from stormtroopers, since it actually replenishes ammo, which is going to be quite useful for this challenge. Now ultimately, the challenge wasn't as hard as I thought, but that was probably because I was on Jedi Knight, and also Cal auto aims for you. Though there were a few enemies and Bode which became very annoying to deal with. For example, trying to take out multiple droidekas with just the blaster is annoyingly hard due to you not being able to get enough shots off to take their shield down, and some other enemies are just good at dodging, but you can still shoot them. As for Bode, his boss fight was the only one I struggled with, but I'll talk about that later. The guy is super annoying. You need to gain a lot of ammo in this challenge, and you do so by parrying. But this little prick will just shoot them, doing little damage and stopping them from doing their attack over and over, meaning you can't gain ammo with him, and you just have to wait for him to actually kill the dude. I mean, at least Merrin is useful. I mean, in the main story you have to fight a Skryton twice, and both times you have Merrin, which is good because I found out that the Skryton does not take damage from the blaster. Even when its block is down, it just does not take damage. It is always deflecting. Even if it doesn't have any block, deflects or just tanks it. It will not take damage. I think it's the only mob in the game that doesn't take damage from a blaster. But it doesn't matter because both times that you actually fight a Skryton, or you need to fight a Skryton, Merrin's there, and then the third time you can run past it. I mean, the second time you can run past it, but that's not beside the point. The thing is, right, you have Merrin, and she just kills it for you. Right, unlike Bode, she actually does a lot of damage. She's useful. Except for in the Bode boss fight, but again, I'll talk about that boss fight later. But when it comes to fighting the bosses, it's actually not that difficult. I thought that would be the hard part. But every boss you face can in fact be killed using nothing but blaster bolts to deal damage. For the Ninth Sister, she's pretty easy because she does dodge blaster bolts, but even when her block stamina is all the way up, she will in fact sometimes take damage. Whereas if you're fighting Dagon, that guy, you have to drain his block. You spend a lot of your time wasting your ammo, draining his block to then do some damage. But if you manage your ammo correctly, you can actually do a lot of damage to Dagon once his block is down, because his block stays down for a while, except for when you fight Dagon for the third time. For me, it was just harder than the first two times. I'm not exactly sure why. I know that, you know, in the third time you fight Dagon, he changes his fighting style towards the end. But at the same time, it's even the beginning bit that seems like the same is still difficult, but whatever. And as for Ravis, my guy is an absolute Giga Chad. He just doesn't care and will always take damage from the blaster. I mean, the fight was even easier using only the blaster than it was fighting him with the lightsaber. I always died to Ravis. Always. I've never first tried him, but this time I first tried him because, simply put, it doesn't matter if he's got block stamina, whatever, he doesn't really dodge. He doesn't really dodge blaster bolts, and he just takes the damage. He just tanks it. He just doesn't care. He's just like, you know what, you can shoot me, I don't give a crap. I'll take it. He just takes it. And what makes it even better is the fact that the guy is so aggressive that he's constantly attacking you, and you're constantly parrying and evading, which gives you ammo, which means you're just constantly shooting him. In the second boss fight, Ravis heals himself, but I don't think he ever actually had a chance to heal himself, because I was constantly shooting him, because he was constantly attacking me, giving me ammo to constantly shoot him. It's great. And then there's the Bode boss fight. Oh my god. Every other boss fight in this game I did first try, except for Dagon, which took me 2 attempts. Bode, took me so many attempts. It was just unbelievable. With every boss in this game and with just regular enemies, you spend a lot of time at a distance because you're playing blaster only, so therefore you don't need to be up and close and personal. But Bode, you do. With Bode, you need to be hugging that guy. You need to be next to him constantly because he does not like to attack with his lightsaber. Alright, if you are far away, he will just continue to shoot you or throw his lightsaber at you. And in fact, he will keep trying to push you away. Every other boss, they'll try and pull you closer and try and get close to you and attack you. Bode, he will not attack you. In fact, I figured out that with Bode, you have to stand next to him for him to actually attack you with the lightsaber, else he's just not going to. So with Bode, you'll find that if you don't stand next to him, you're going to run out of ammo, and then it's just a pain in the arm. When I played Jedi Survivor for the first time, I beat Bode first try. The second time, I beat Bode first try. But this time with Bode, it took me so many attempts, I lost count, it just took me ages. Merrin, okay, earlier I was complimenting Merrin, saying that she's great, amazing, you know, doesn't get in the way. In the Bode boss fight, she doesn't do anything. In the beginning, you can use her to stun Bode and get as many blaster shots off as you want. But after that, she just disappears and says, I will fight in the shadows. Okay, cool. But then when she does show up, she misses all the time. Every time. To the point where she's useless. Literally useless. I love Merrin as a character, but in the Bode boss fight, she's useless. And Bode is so bloody annoying. But after defeating Bode, that was it. I'd done it. I had beaten the entire game using only the blaster from the blaster stance whenever you can use the blaster stance in New Game Plus.